You have been conditioned to believe that your kindness is your greatest strength, but in the hands of a manipulator, your empathy is simply the map he uses to find your breaking point. He watches you over-explain, he watches you beg for clarity, and he smiles because he knows that as long as you are talking, he is the one in control. But he is not prepared for the version of you that no longer seeks to be understood. He is terrified of the woman who realizes that her silence isn't a lack of words, but a presence of power so absolute it leaves him reaching for a ghost. Today, we are closing the door to his influence and opening the vault of your inner authority. In this video, we'll dive into the profound, protective, and transformative insights from dark psychology, drawing from lessons I cherished from my own ascent to help you reclaim your voice by choosing exactly when to withhold it. I remember the dark truth being that a manipulator doesn't fear your anger. He fears your indifference. Think back to those evenings when the air in your home felt thick and heavy, like a storm that refused to break. You sat there, your phone glowing in the dark, staring at a screen that remained hauntingly silent. You could hear him in the other room, the muffled sound of his footsteps, the deliberate clink of a glass, the cold aura of his presence ignoring you entirely. Your heart raced, a frantic drum against your ribs, as you dissected every word you said that day, searching for the hidden crime that justified his coldness. You felt that desperate itch in your throat, the urge to apologize for things you didn't do, just to make the tension vanish. This is the diagnosis. He has turned your home into a laboratory of psychological stress, and your reaction is the data he collects to keep you trapped. But dark psychology always made it a point to remind us that when you stop reacting, the specimen begins to panic. We must implement the first shadow rule, the law of the invisible observer. From this moment on, you are no longer the victim of his moods. You are a scientist observing a predictable behavior. When he delivers that sharp, sarcastic comment designed to make you flinch, or when he arrives late without a word of explanation, do not offer him your tears. Instead, look at him with a calm, detached curiosity. Observe the way his jaw tightens when he doesn't get the rise he expected. By shifting from participant to observer, you reclaim the high ground. You are signaling that his chaos is no longer your weather. This brings us to the second shadow rule, the fortress of the unsaid. You have spent years as a people pleaser, believing that if you just found the right combination of words, he would finally see your worth. You have written paragraphs of text, pouring your heart out, only to receive a one-word answer, or worse, more silence. Dark Insights would say in seminars that every explanation you give him is a weapon you hand him to use against you. If you explain why you are hurt, he learns exactly where to strike next. If you justify your boundaries, he finds the logical loophole to dismantle them. Stop giving him the map. When you say no, or when you decide to change your plans, do not attach a single justification. A simple, "that doesn't work for me," is a complete sentence. Watch the confusion wash over his face when he realizes he has nothing to argue against. Your lack of explanation is the wall he cannot climb. I recall a conversation with the shadows where I learned that his power only exists in the space you give him to debate you. When you close that space, his ego begins to starve. This leads us to the third shadow rule, the starvation of the emotional parasite. A manipulator feeds on intensity. He doesn't care if it's love or rage. As long as he is the sun your world revolves around. When you scream at him for his lies, you are still feeding him. When you weep in front of him, you are still validating his importance. The most devastating response you can offer is boredom. Imagine him throwing a tantrum or trying to bait you into a fight about the most trivial thing, the way you parked the car or a forgotten chore. Instead of defending your character, look at him with a slight, weary smile and say, "I see you're feeling very strongly about this today," and then go back to whatever you were doing. Do not absorb the poison. Let his words fall like dead leaves at your feet. You are training him to understand that your emotional energy is a premium currency he no longer has the credit to spend. This is not being passive. It is the most aggressive form of self-preservation. As you apply these rules, you will encounter what we call the fourth shadow rule, the anticipation of the extinction burst. Like a machine that stops giving out candy, he will kick and scream and hit the buttons harder before he finally gives up. He will call you cold. He will tell your mutual friends that you have become heartless. He will look you in the eyes and say, "You're the villain here, you've changed." This is the critical moment where your old self, the one who fears being disliked, will want to scream and defend her honor. Do not move. If this lesson speaks to you directly, write in the comments, "I am no longer his puppet." When he calls you cold, realize he is simply mourning the death of his control. Stand firm in the eye of the hurricane. If your boundaries make him suffer, it is only because he was profiting from your lack of them. Let him sit in the silence he created. Now we must move to the fifth shadow rule, the mirror of absolute autonomy. For too long, you have lived in a state of suspended animation, waiting for his mood to dictate your joy. You didn't go to that dinner because he might be in a bad mood. You didn't start that project because he might feel neglected. You have lived as a supporting character in his tragedy. The rule of autonomy dictates that you must act as if you are the sole architect of your life. Make your plans, join that class, visit your family. If he decides to be present, fine. If he decides to be distant, also fine. You are no longer waiting for his permission to exist. This triggers a deep, primal fear in the manipulator, the fear that you have already left him in your mind. Suddenly, you are not the guaranteed appliance in his kitchen. You are a woman with a life so rich and full that he has to compete for a seat at your table. The phone rings and you let it go to voicemail, not because you are playing games, but because you are genuinely busy being happy. You are teaching him that your time is a privilege, not a right. This takes us to the sixth shadow rule, the revocation of the benefit of the doubt. Your empathy has been your curse because you see his potential rather than his reality. You tell yourself he had a hard childhood, or he's just stressed at work, or he didn't mean it that way. You are acting as his PR manager while he is actively destroying your peace. Stop it. Strip away the excuses. If he lies, he is a liar. If he is cruel, he is a cruel man. Look at his actions with the same cold clarity he uses to find your weaknesses. When you see him clearly, without the filter of your hope, you will realize he is not a giant. He is a small, frightened man using a megaphone to hide his emptiness. This realization will feel like grief. It will hurt to realize you loved a shadow. But that grief is the sound of your chains breaking. You are finally protecting your reality instead of his illusions. Drawing from what I learned in shadows, I know that the truth doesn't set you free until it finishes making you miserable first. Accept the misery, for it is the price of your liberation. Finally, we reach the seventh shadow rule, the silent departure of the soul. There is a fantasy that we will have a final grand confrontation where we say the perfect words, and he finally understands the pain he caused. Let go of that fantasy. He will never give you closure because closure is a tool of control he wants to keep. The most powerful exit is the one that happens while you are still standing in the same room. You check out. You gather your support, you secure your finances, you rebuild your spirit, and you do it all behind a mask of calm indifference. One day, you are simply gone, physically or emotionally. He finds the shell of the relationship still there, but the heart has been moved to a secret location he can no longer access. This is the ghost in the machine. You are unreachable. Imagine it is a Friday night. In the past, you would be waiting for him to decide the mood of the evening. But now, you are sitting in your favorite chair, the scent of lavender in the air, a book in your lap. The room is quiet, but it is a sacred silence, not a lonely one. He enters, sensing your shift in energy, and tries to snag you with a jagged comment about your appearance or your friends. You look up, give him a small, unbothered smile that doesn't reach your eyes, and say, "That's an interesting perspective," before returning to your page. In that split second, you see it, the flicker of genuine terror in his gaze. He knows the game is over because you have stopped being a player. You have become the board, the pieces, and the winner all at once. It hits you like a bolt of lightning. His criticism was never about your inadequacy. It was his only way to handle your light. This journey is not for the faint of heart, my sister. It requires you to kill the person-pleaser within and let a warrior take her place. But the reward is the only thing that matters. You get yourself back. You deserve a life of respect and safety, not as a reward for your silence, but as the baseline of your existence. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of dark psychology's profound wisdom. Apply these insights to your own path. Subscribe for more transformative content, like if this inspired you, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Remember, the most dangerous woman in the world is the one who no longer needs validation to feel worthy. Be that woman. Walk in the shadows, but live in the light of your own truth. I will see you in the next video. Stay protected.